Good to see you. Nice. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am so thrilled to announce our plan for the People's Bank of New York. Now, we're here outside of a check cashing facility, and that is an appropriate background because it makes no sense in the world's financial capital, New York City, that 12% of New Yorkers are unbanked and do not have a bank account. And when you don't have a bank account, you know what you wind up doing? You wind up spending hundreds of dollars a year, even thousands of dollars a year on check cashing fees, on money lenders. Hello, how are you? Yes.
I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you so much. That's what I'm talking about, Harlem.
Woo!
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you. Wow, this is the kind of reception I
All
love.
of your ideas I love so much. I was hoping that they would pick you for the primary. Thank you. Thank you.
Yang the OG.
Love you.
Play with Yang.
Love you, Andrew Yang.
Yang was different. Yang got that.
So again, you have 12% of New Yorkers who don't have bank accounts. And how are we going to change that? I'm thrilled to be here with William Allen, who's going to be the next city councilman out of Harlem, who's going to help make this plan improve the lives of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers. So the People's Bank of New York is going to do three things. Number one, it's going to provide $100 million in funding to community development financial institutions like the one represented by Jessie Lee here to my right, and credit unions, so that they are better able to serve the unmet financial needs for New Yorkers throughout the city. And we know right now that the communities that are being neglected the most by traditional banks are communities of color, like Harlem. The second thing that the People's Bank is going to do is it's going to enable microloans, levels as low as $50,000 for small business owners that right now, again, are being overlooked by the traditional banks. And again, we know that a disproportionate number of those business owners are people of color or women of color who right now are considered higher risk by traditional banks. The People's Bank will make it so that we can get startup capital to these entrepreneurs in a way that's cost effective and scalable. And the third thing is that we're going to get people bank accounts by, again, getting resources to community development financial institutions like the one that Jessie Lee represents, and credit unions, and have the People's Bank seal so that even if you go into a traditional bank, there's going to be a safe bank account that's available for people that have never had bank accounts before, that may not have documentation. It's not going to matter. You can have ID NYC, because a lot of the folks that don't have access to financial services right now are scared because they're undocumented, and they're the ones that are paying money that they don't have to check cashers and money lenders and the rest of the industries that are right now taking advantage of the fact that we have not done enough to have people access the financial services that they deserve and need. So the People's Bank of New York is the first of its kind. It's the most aggressive plan in the country to help reduce the unbanked and underbanked population. I am so thrilled to be announcing this today. And I'm also thrilled to announce an advocate and a head of a CDFI herself, Jessie Lee. Jessie, welcome.
Thank you. You got my vote.
Thank you.
Yang. Yang.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessie Lee. I was born and raised in New York City. I still live in New York City and I'm a proud New Yorker here. I've worked professionally in the CDFI industry for almost 20 years, proudly supporting low-income minority small businesses with accessing capital. I have seen thousands of minority small business owners in my lifetime who cannot access loans to start or expand their business. This is a time for bold and big changes, and I really believe that this People's Bank can really address income inequality. As a proud New Yorker, I like this economic policy. People's Bank, I like it. I think the partnership between People's Bank and CDFIs can really accelerate underserved communities and combat poverty today. I look forward to People's Bank becoming a reality. This is good economic policy, and it's good for the people of New York City. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hear you, Lee.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
They say y'all come to the jewelry store. We up here in Harlem.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly right. So I would love to take some questions, and you can also ask questions of either William Allen or Jessie Lee.
Can you tell us a little more about logistics and how this works? Are you talking about the city running the bank directly, and how much is it going to cost? And bring it all capital for this?
So the city is going to commit $100 million in working capital to a nonprofit corporation that is then going to make that funding available to CDFIs like the one that Jessie Lee runs. And in that way, this $100 million in working capital can be leveraged multiple times over by different CDFIs, because the way it works is that right now, if you make loans and commitments, there's like a certain allocation that you have to make for potential loss. So essentially, the city is going to put up the capital that's going to enable lenders to be able to lend more money and activate more capital, and know that the city will absorb the first layer of losses. That's also going to enable microloans at the $50,000 level that may not be feasible. But again, if you have a certain level of loss that's accounted for by the city, then you can be much more ambitious about helping more people access capital. So it's $100 million in working capital from New York City in a nonprofit corporation that can then be leveraged by CDFIs and other institutions.
Is there an existing model for this in another municipality, whether that's in the United States or elsewhere in the world that you're
So there is a template in North Dakota that we looked at to see whether there were lessons that could be learned. But we're very excited to be moving in this direction, and it's something that the city can undertake on its own. In my view, it would actually be beneficial for Albany to consider chartering a public bank. But this nonprofit corporation is something we can establish ourselves. Yes.
I want to ask you on a different topic. There's been some criticism of you appearing on the Sam Harris podcast. You've also come very strongly against BDS and related to anti-Semitism. Why should Palestinian and Muslim New Yorkers support you when you are very against them on their issues?
No, I'm for all New Yorkers, and that includes people of every religion and background. I'm very excited to sit down with leaders and activists in the Muslim community very soon. I think we have something rescheduled with that organization. But New Yorkers can sense that, like, I'm for New Yorkers of every background, every faith. I respect everybody.
Go back to Emily's question from earlier that you said we did not have a chance to get to. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience?
With COVID?
Yeah.
Sure, how are you talking about? All right, I'll get this way with COVID. So I'm happy to share this because I think it may benefit the public. I think that my first symptom of COVID, which I did not realize at the time, was that my back hurt. Like, I later found out that that's actually an early sign of COVID, at least for some people. So my back started hurting, but I just thought that was just, a backache. And then I started to experience like a very, very mild kind of like sense of fatigue, like maybe the slightest fever. And then I took a rapid test and got a positive result, and then that obviously changed everything where you thought, oh my gosh, like I got a positive result. So I then quarantined, notified people that I had been proximate to, and then the symptoms got worse over the next number of days where I developed what felt like flu. But then at some point I lost my taste, my sense of taste. Like switching your taste to something slightly different. But I lost my sense of taste. And I have to say that I found eating to be more difficult and unpleasant if you can't taste the food. And so that was like layered on top. The most difficult part, and I was talking to William about this, I think the most difficult part of my COVID experience was the sense of isolation and the mental toll it takes on you, because you feel depleted, you feel responsible. Like in my case, I was very concerned about getting other people in my household sick. So it was a very difficult number of days. I'm thrilled to be back out and about. As you can tell, like I feel great now. But this is something that you would not wish on anyone. And we need to take this pandemic very, very seriously. If you feel like you might have symptoms, please do take them seriously early. Get tested as quickly as possible. And this is coming from someone who, again, I think I may have had a symptom and I did not realize that it was a sign of COVID.
Do you know how you may have contracted COVID-19? Was it out campaigning as you are now?
I really have no idea, genuinely. Like we've been adhering to public health and safety guidelines, so like it was a mystery.
The question is, when you were running for president, everyone was saying, no, Andrew Yang shouldn't run for president. He should start small and run for something like mayor of New York.
Tell him, Yang. Tell him.
So now you're running for the mayor of New York. So what's your story?
Get him, Yang.
Oh well, no, I'm thrilled.
He is the mayor.
I'm thrilled to be running for mayor of the greatest city in the world. And I think I can help get New York City back on its feet more quickly. And I think that's what New Yorkers are hungering for right now. They're hungering for a government that's actually operating at a high level, that can follow through and can speed up this vaccination process and the recovery process. I'm thrilled by the impact of my presidential campaign. I think we mainstreamed ideas around humanizing the economy and universal basic income that have now become, frankly, the mainstream popular wisdom. Where at this point now, a majority of Americans are for universal basic income in perpetuity. 85% are for cash relief during the pandemic. And so a lot of the things that my campaign championed have now unfortunately come to pass in terms of some of the negative fears I had around jobs and automation, which is accelerated because of the pandemic. So very proud of my presidential campaign, thrilled to be running for mayor of New York, and I'm thrilled by the success the campaign has had thus far. I'm incredibly proud of the fact that we have over 3,500 volunteers that have been helping New Yorkers get information about how to get vaccinated, because we know right now that there's a lot of confusion around that.
All right, we gotta go. Thank you, everyone.
Hey guys, Matt here from The Matt Skidmore Show. Thank you so much for watching. I want to give a special shout out to Jewel Media. Jewel Media provided and edited this video, filmed it, put it together for us, and we are so thankful for her allowing us to upload it to our channel. Make sure you head on over to her channel, subscribe. She uploads tons of great content, including videos of Andrew Yang's campaign in New York City. So make sure you go on over there, leave a like on her video, tell her how much you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Put the money in our hands. 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 Can we afford it? Yes. Will it cause inflation? No. Is it awesome? Yes. Is anyone trying to make it happen? Yeah, that guy.